welcome everybody. This is Football Talk, and we are in the first week of preseason, and we get to start doing Pick'em yet again. One of my favorite shows to do each season is Pick'em. Obviously, some of it is because we get to play together, and we get to discuss what each team is doing, where they're going, and obviously we do our picks as well. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. There's two games today. The first game is the Texans versus the Patriots. Obviously, the Texans are going to be an interesting watch. They have C.J. Stroud going to get the start today. And, the Texans are probably – I have the Texans winning this game, mostly because the Patriots also aren't a great team. I think that the Texans are going to come out with a lot of their starting package just to kind of see what they have. They got a lot of new pieces in this draft, and I think they're going to be the better team. Again, it's preseason, so you never really know. It really depends on how many starters are actually coming out to play and, those types of things. But the Patriots tend to not really do much in preseason. They don't show any creativity. Typically, it's all a very vanilla offense. I don't know how much time Mac Jones is going to be out there. So at this point, for the first game, I got the Texans over the Patriots, just because I think, again, they have a lot of new guys that they're going to have out there that are ultimately going to be starters this season. And then the evening game today will be Vikings here in Seattle. I have Seattle winning this. Now, we're going to get some interesting looks from the Hawks as well. I don't know that Geno is going to get much playing time. I think it'll mostly be the Drew Lock show. The other thing that's going to be interesting is because there's so many injuries in that running back room, having Walker and Charbonnet still out with injuries. It's going to be the DJ Dallas show, and I still think that's going to ultimately be better than what the Vikings are going to be coming out. The Vikings are going to debut their new cornerback, Blackman, which they really need him to be the guy that they are trying for him to be. And they also have their new linebacker as well. So hopefully those new pieces are going to help that defense out a little bit. That's really the side of the ball that I'm going to be looking for in that game tonight, is going to be on the defensive side for the Vikings. We kind of know what the offensive side of the Vikings are, and a lot of their stars probably aren't going to get much playing time, especially today. All right, so Friday football games, we got Green Bay and the Bengals. So Green Bay, I have I have Green Bay picking this game up. They have a lot of guys that are younger, or they picked them up this offseason. They need to see what Jordan Love is. So there's going to be a lot of their starting cast kind of coming out into this game, whereas the Bengals know exactly what they are on offense. So they're going to be looking at depth primarily. They may have more of their starting defense out there just because they do have some questions, especially in that secondary. So they're going to be looking at how to fill some of those gaps that they kind of ended up having happen in this offseason. But I have Green Bay picking this one up. Then it's Giants and Lions. So I got Lions getting this win here. And they picked up Teddy Bridgewater this last week. I would imagine he probably gets the start. I don't think they're going to give Goff a lot of playing time here in preseason. And they're going to get to see if their new tight end, Slam Laporta, it can be that impact player that they kind of want another tight end. So hopefully they get some good reps out of him and game speed. And again, the Bengals, they know what they are on offense. So it's going to be all looking at what the defense can be, especially that secondary. So that's the part of the game I'm looking at there. That being said, I got the Lions. The Giants. my bad. So I have the Lions winning, but the Giants, they're going to be kind of testing out their new rookie wide receiver. He had already came out and said he wanted to win Rookie of the Year. So Jalen Hyatt will be an interesting focal point to look at in that game. So yeah, I have the Lions over the Giants in this preseason matchup. Another Friday game is Falcons Dolphins. So both of these teams are going to be kind of unique. I'm going to be looking for a lot of reps out of Bijan for the Falcons, just to see what it is they have, to make sure that, all of this preseason hype is, it translates into game speed. I imagine it will. He's a dynamic runner, but it is definitely probably the thing you're going to see the most of from the Falcons. And then the Dolphins, kind of like the Bengals, are going to be mostly looking at depth. They kind of know what they are, especially on offense. So they're going to be looking at what they have in their depth chart, their second and third string guys. They're going to be looking for guys to stand out to maybe make that 53-man roster. Going into this game, everybody still has 90, but they have 3 weeks to cut it down to 53. So there's going to be a lot of film in those coaching rooms just to try and figure out who's going to end up getting those first cuts. Generally, after this first weekend, you end up with 5 or 6 guys that are immediately out the door. So for a team like the Dolphins, where they know what their starters are, I almost feel like that's a little bit easier task, just because you already have a nice platform to build from. So now you're looking for complementary pieces as opposed to you got to build your team. So it's going to be a little bit different game plan for those two teams. But I think the Falcons get that one. Browns Commanders, I got the Browns with that one. The quarterback situation for the Browns should be kind of an interesting battle for that second spot. And then the other thing for the Browns is Goodwin battling some blood clots. He is probably going to be out for a while. So there are 5 guys on that depth chart that are going to be really kind of aiming to fill that role. And so that'll probably be the most interesting part of, just kind of how that offense is going to come together, is that fourth receiver role. And then the Falcons, or Commanders, I should say, Howell and Brissett, that'll be the battle for, that quarterback position. So that's going to be kind of fun to watch during this game. That being said, the Browns are such a better team, even at depth, that the Browns should win this game. You got Broncos in Arizona. This is another one where, even if it was going to be the backups, the Broncos should win this game. They had one of the best defenses in the league. They didn't really lose anything so much. The couple of things they lost, they really kind of replaced relatively easily. So that being said, Sean Payton already said that he's going to come out with his starting lineup. So if it's a starting lineup and you have an Arizona team that is still banged up, they're looking at, they're going to be at backup positions, even if this was week 1. So this one should go to the Broncos relatively easily. And then the last Friday game, Steelers Bucks. So the Bucks are going to be interesting because you have that memo that was put out about Mayfield and Trask. It just says or, so there's no clear favorite to win that starting job between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. So they're going to come out trying to win this game. Mayfield gets the start, but you can bet that both guys are going to get some playing time today. And the Steelers are probably going to be rolling out most of their rookies, just trying to see what it is they've got. But yeah, that quarterback one battle for the Bucks is going to be interesting here in this preseason week 1. So then we move on to the Saturday games. We got the Titans at the Bears. I got the Titans in this one. The Titans are going to roll out with, Malik Willis and Levis for another, kind of backup quarterback battle. So that should be kind of fun to watch. The other thing that's kind of neat about this game is the assistant head coach, Terrell Williams, is going to be the head coach for the game. Vrabel wanted to give him a starting head coach opportunity, and what better time than to do that during the preseason? So he gets to get some experience, and pretty awesome thing for Vrabel to do. And then the Bears will probably also kind of come out with some of their starters. I think that the Bears are, because they added enough pieces around, they kind of need to see how it's going to gel with Justin Fields and everything. So I would imagine that they are going to come out at least for a series or two with their starters, and then they'll start looking at more depth. But because they added enough players around him, they probably need to see how everything kind of interacts with each other. So that I do like the Titans in that game. Colts at the Bills. I have the Colts in this one also. The Bills, they're probably not going to sit. I mean, they're probably going to sit most of their starters. They know what they have on the offense. Their defense is the part that they're probably really going to start to focus on. And then on the Colts, we got we got AR coming out, and so we'll finally get to see Richardson and see him at NFL game speed. So that'll be kind of fun to watch. Again, these are preseason, pick 'em, picks, I should say. And so they could go any number of ways, because these teams aren't necessarily all trying to win. They're just trying to see what it is they have on their depth chart. But that being said, I have the Colts over the Bills, just because I think that the Bills are probably going to sit a lot of guys. Then we have the Jets at the Panthers. So this one easily goes to the Jets, even though Rodgers is not going to play, but that team has enough depth, even before this offseason, that they should be able to beat a Panthers team that is going to bring out Bryce Young. We do finally get to see Bryce Young at game speed in the NFL, so that's going to be cool. But I think that Jets defense is a little bit too much rookie and preseason. So then we move on to the Jags at the Cowboys. This is another one where I think the Cowboys are a good enough team at depth that they probably end up getting this. Let's see, the Jags are probably going to feature running back Bigsby a fair amount. It's another one where they're trying to find some depth to help in areas of the game. And then the Cowboys, they're going to probably be pretty heavy on their rookie running back, Deuce Vaughn. We want to see if he has everything that these highlight videos in camp are showing. But, the thing with camp is they're not really hitting. So there's some plays that look awesome on tape that aren't necessarily going to be awesome in a game. So that one's going to be fun to watch, just to see how those two running back cores kind of get used in these games, just as they try and figure out their depth situation. Eagles Ravens. So this one's going to be a fun watch, just because this one could go either way, and neither team really put out if they're going to be bringing out their starters or not. That being said, both teams are good enough. Their second string guys would be starters on a lot of teams. So this should be a pretty good battle, even for a preseason game. And then the last Saturday game is Chargers Rams. This is one where I'm kind of interested to see from the Rams side. You get Stetson Bennett is probably going to get the start. I don't imagine they're going to have Stafford come out. Coming off the injury that he had last year, they're probably going to give him as much rest time as possible. And then when it comes to the Chargers, they are probably going to sit most of their guys. This is going to be a depth look as well. I believe they're going to spend a little bit more time on that defensive side of the ball, just because that was really their weakness last season. So that's kind of how I see that coming out. I do have the Rams getting that win. KC versus the Saints. KC is one where a lot of their starting lineup, again, is going to be sitting. This is going to be a look at depth, but it's also going to be a look at shoring up that defense even more. Their defense was significantly better than the year before, but last year it still wasn't an elite defense by any means. So they are continuously trying to build on that side of the ball. So that's the side of the ball that I'm really going to look at here in the preseason for Kansas City, is if they can get some added depth, maybe some extra speed to try and elevate that defense above where it was last season. Even though obviously they went and won, they were good enough to win. Obviously it was a weaker spot in their game, but I do have the Saints getting that win, just because the Saints are going to be rolling out with their starting lineup. We're going to get to see Derek Carr. Hopefully they don't roll out David Carr. So we're going to see Derek Carr in finally in a Saints uniform. Kamara will probably have a couple of reps since he's going to be suspended for the first few games of the season. So he'll probably get some reps here in the preseason, and then his suspension will start week 1. So, but I have the Saints there, and then Niners Raiders to round out the weekend. So you'll probably see Trey Lance get the start, and we'll see if we'll see if he can play. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of film from him in the last couple of years. He's been injured most of the time. I know that the Niners are hoping that he has a good showing out there. You will likely see Darnold hit the field at some point as well, but I would imagine that Lance will get that start. And then you get to see Jimmy G. I'm sure he's also going to be out there for a series. They're going to want to see if his foot is okay. And, there's also just some gamesmanship of he wants to be able to play against a team that just let him go. So that's kind of where I rounded out. So just to recap that, I have the Texans over the Pats, the Hawks over the Vikings, Green Bay over the Bengals, Lions over the Giants, Falcons over the Dolphins, Browns over the Commanders, Broncos over the Cards, Titans over the Bears, Colts over the Bills, Jets getting the win over the Panthers, Cowboys, Eagles, Rams, Saints, Niners, and Bucks. So go down in the comments. Let me know what your picks are for this weekend. If you are here in the Seattle area, then hopefully we will see you tonight. We're going to be at Triple Horn Brewery in beautiful Woodinville, Washington. So come out, watch the games. There's 2 games tonight it's not Thursday Night Football because it's preseason, but it is a Thursday and there's football. So it's Thursday Night Football to me. But come on out, have a beer with me. Going to chat with the owner a little bit earlier in the day. So that interview will end up being here on my channel later. And, I got some comments. Let's make sure I get through these real quick. Sup, Alec? I'm definitely going to see the 49ers. And football is definitely back-ish. Yeah, I mean, it's back compared to what we just had. Oh, you will? Yep, you will see a little bit of Brandon Allen most likely. So yeah, of course, thanks for jumping in. And again, if you happen to be in Woodinville, come on out. We are doing our sports bar series this year. We will be doing Thursday Night Football from a different sports bar, basically ranging from Tacoma to Bellingham, and it should be a lot of fun. Plus, because Thursday Night Football just wasn't super exciting last year, this seemed like a really fun way to make the game a little bit more enjoyable, even if the game itself isn't going to be top tier. But, and then if you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe. Other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you tonight. Take it easy, everybody.